Alright, so here I'm going to show you how to create a pillow in the Fibers and Textile Studio. I've got string, a needle, a permanent marker, and a large pair of scissors. They cut fabric easier. So I've got my first piece of 8x8 fabric, and I'm going to trace it so that I don't have to measure another fabric to be the same size. I know they're both 8x8 because I measured the first and then I traced it. And then I'm going to cut out that other square so that I have my two pieces and put my extra yarn back, or my extra fabric back in the fabric scraps box. Now I'm putting my pillow face to face, which means I'm putting it inside out for now, and then towards the end, before we put the stuffing in it, we will flip it right side out. So the first part that we're going to talk about is putting the thread through your needle. I'm using big thread and I'm using black thread so that you'll be able to see it really well while I'm doing the video. So I've got the eye of the needle, and I'm holding my string really close to the end of the eye of the needle, and that's the hole at the top. And I'm going to put my thread right through that hole. So this is one piece of thread that I'm basically folding in half. So I'm going to pull that thread all the way down to the other end so that my thread is doubled, and this just makes it stronger and hold a little bit better. So I've got my double piece, and here's how you tie a knot. You take that tail and loop it over the thread, and then you push that tail through the loop and pull tight. Remember that knot tying is a requirement, so make sure that you've practiced enough before you start making a pillow. I'm pushing my needle through both pieces of fabric and pulling all the way so that knot is flush or pressed up against my fabric. You can cut off the extra pieces if you want to. You don't have to, because you will not see this part once you flip it inside out. And now I'm basically drawing a line, but I'm using a needle and thread. And the most important part is keep your stitches close together and make sure that whatever side your string comes out of, that's the side that you put your needle back through. So here my string comes out of the white side, so I'm going to put my needle back through the white side. And now it comes out of the purple side, so I'm going to put my needle back through the purple side. And I'm going to do this all the way around my pillow, but leave about half of the last side open. This is so that I can flip it right side out and put the stuffing in. So I'm basically drawing a square, but instead of using a pencil to draw, like I said, I'm using a needle and thread. Through the purple, through the white, through the purple, through the white. Keep that pattern in your head. Whatever colors your fabric or your pillow is, keep that pattern in your head. Keep your stitches close together and keep them nice and snug. If you pull them too tight, your pillow will bunch up. That's how you know you've gone too far. And to go around that corner, you just keep doing the same thing. You just follow the edge of the pillow. Not too close, but if you go too far in, your pillow will get smaller. Through the purple, through the white. Keep that in your head. So now I'm leaving a long piece that goes a little over halfway across my pillow. And this is the first method of knot tying that I'm going to show you when it comes to ending your thread. You take the needle under the last stitch that you made and pull it tight. And then you go under that next one again and put the needle through the loop and pull tight, and then cut it off. And now you do the same thing that you did before. You thread your needle again through the eye of the needle and then pull that in to meet the other end and make them even, folding that string in half. And we're going to tie the knot at the end of our thread again by pulling the tail up and over to make a loop and putting the tail through the other side of the loop and pulling tight. And then once again, I'm doing the same technique of running stitch where I go through the purple, pull it to where the knot meets the fabric, And then I've gone all the way around. So this is the last way, or the second way I'm going to show you how to tie a knot at the end of your thread. So you do the same thing that you do when you're tying a knot at the end of your thread after you put it through the needle. You just have the needle in your hand instead. So you just make that loop and go through the loop and pull it tight. So now I'm going to flip my pillow right side out so that I can put the stuffing in. And then I'll use something longer to poke out my corners, maybe the long pair of scissors or a pen or pencil or your Sharpie that you have, so that my corners are nice and neat. And now I'm going to add my stuffing, but not too much stuffing because we don't want to overfill it or it'll be too hard to sew it closed at the top. And to sew it closed, I'm going to do the same thing, thread my needle, tie the knot at the end, and fold those edges in so that it looks a little bit neater. And you just kind of keep your fingers close together to keep those edges folded in throughout the last part. So I go through both pieces, went through, my string comes out of the white, so I go back through the white, comes out of the purple, so I go back through the purple, and you do that all the way to the corner. And when we get to that corner, I'm going to show you the final way that you can tie your knot at the end to cut your thread off of the pillow. So here is much different, but it's also very successful. So that's how we would do it before, put the knot through, or put the needle through the loop. But here I'm going to cut my thread right at the end of the needle so that it makes it 2 pieces. And I'm going to tie it 3 times, just like you tie your shoelaces. 1, 2, and 3. So you can really see my black thread. If you choose a piece of thread that matches your fabric, you will not be able to see it as much.